G'day everyone, how we going?
Got our first visitor.
Yep, a very, very special guest. Very first podcast guest for the Modern Ancestral Man. We got Matt Kershaw from Primer Ancestral. Is that right, mate?
That's right.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Check him out on the old Instagram when you get a chance. He's definitely very aligned with the message that we've been throwing out over the last 6 months or so. Yeah. So we'll have a chat with Matt today about his sort of health journey, how he got here. He's a, can I say, renowned health coach in Perth. Is that
Go for
fair
it.
to say? Yeah. I did read one of the YouTube comments. Another charming Aussie, it said on there. So now we've got one on the podcast, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have a bit of a chat about his journey. You're a Rivero health coach, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Through Sean Baker.
Sean Baker. So people in the carnivore scene will know Sean's name. He's out there. Sort of him, Paul Saladino. We can't really mention the Liver King anymore, can we?
Unless you mentioned steroids.
It's a little bit
Everybody
controversial.
Pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. But we've we kind of can we say hooked up on Instagram? We
Made a connection.
Made a connection. Yeah, and you got some pretty good stuff on there. Very aligned with what we've got. Some entertaining videos. I did like the one you've done recently with the lady in the cereal aisle.
Someone called me a serial killer.
Yeah.
I think I destroyed her.
Yeah.
She hasn't come back yet. I don't know if she's seen it. But
Where did you find that video? I can't believe people are making a video like that. It's crazy.
Mate, some of the posts you make on Instagram are so enjoyable. They got such a good message that we resonate with, but the creativity that you're doing with, like words popping out of your hands and stuff like that, they're unreal. I really enjoy them.
oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the content's really good. It's very, very similar to what we've got. But this podcast will be in the new year. So we've probably got one coming out before this one about goal setting and different bits and pieces for the new year. Everyone talks about sort of New Year's resolutions and whatnot, and we were going to probably discuss, how, one of the things is fitness in the new year. Everyone's got that first year of January. They want to get fit again. So we'll probably, being mostly over 45-year-old guys, we've got young Mick over there in Queensland. You're nearly 40, mate?
No, mate, still a few years off yet.
Come on,
38 in the
30,
new year.
39 and a half.
Whippersnapper.
But yeah, just the importance of, building muscle or gaining muscle as you get a little bit older and how that helps with health. But we'll just kind of flow with the conversation. It's an honour to have a guest on with us, so that's really, really good. Appreciate you taking the time to come and have a chat with us, Matt. So maybe just give us a few minutes sort of rundown of how you got to this point in your health journey, and then we'll sort of chat from there.
Will do. I think for me, it's been a very long journey. A lot of people have severe health problems, and then a lot of people switch to carnivore, for example, or something meat-based. They can do it pretty quickly. But for me, I didn't have that sort of info that we have now. Way back in, 2013, 14, I was listening to podcasts on paleo.
Yeah.
So
Rob
carnivore
Wolf
wasn't really a
yeah.
thing. It was Rob Wolf and others in that area. So I was onto that, and I sort of started to soak up the information. And I had a range of health issues. Had a bit of a gut. I was drinking a lot. I was severely addicted to sugar, which it's pretty hard to get rid of those cravings. Carbs, bread, just anything that was processed, I would demolish it. Go to a party or there'll be a work function, just demolish the donuts, the cupcakes, everything. And I was proud of it. It's like, I can eat. I'm just going to smash through it. Look at that guy go,
And were you overweight?
No, just had no muscle definition.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a beer gut. And one day I looked at a photo and I just saw it. I was like, what is that? You don't notice. It just creeps up on you as you get
But mate,
older.
good on you for noticing it, because I
Yeah.
reckon that's where most blokes come unstuck is. And I look at them and I go, you've got to this point. At which stage did you not look in the mirror and go, oh, shit, I've got to do something about this before it gets too far.
Complacency.
So good on you for identifying it.
Yeah. And I had a range of health issues. I call it low-grade inflammation.
Yeah. Sounds like the standard Australian diet there.
It was. Yeah. It was. I think with sugar and alcohol on top of that, just really doesn't help.
Yeah.
And just noticed I was waking up, I was tired, lethargic the whole day. Yeah. Had brain fog. I think the big one was eczema.
Yeah, okay.
And I have these huge outbreaks and cover half my body. It's pretty intense,
Yeah,
You look in the mirror and you think, what is it? You
Yeah.
go to the doctor,
Yeah.
you go to the chemist, you get creams.
It's not sexy.
It's an internal thing.
Yeah.
You just put these creams on it, the flare up starts to disappear, but then it comes back again.
Yeah.
And I was listening to these podcasts. I thought, has to be diet related. It's not a normal thing. Our ancestors wouldn't have had these flare ups and would have had brain fog and all these other health issues that we have. It's got to be something internal. So it's just it was clicking slowly in my head.
Yeah, often the skin is the signal, isn't it, that something's going wrong inside.
Skin, yeah. And that was another thing. Looked in the mirror, and I was overseas for years. I was working in Vietnam, came back, and a couple of my friends here said, "What's going on? You look different. You don't look well."
Really?
Yeah, I didn't look well. I had really pale skin. I had like this mixture of oily and dry skin, bad dandruff, bags under my eyes. That was another wake up. Like, you don't look well.
Yeah.
Basically, they're saying, you look like shit. What's going on?
Your body does give you subtle clues, doesn't it? Like, you don't notice them maybe, like Rue was talking about earlier, like how do people let themselves get to a certain point? Well, it creeps up slowly, doesn't it? And maybe you see yourself in the mirror every day, so you don't often notice these small changes. Maybe I've got some darker rings under my eyes, maybe I'm getting a bit more of a gut, whatever it is, and then before you know it, you're in that bad state. So.
Yeah. And Matt obviously had the benefit of honest mates as well. Hey, mate, you put a bit of pudding on there, mate. What's going on?
What's going on there?
I reckon that's, you got to have honest mates as well. And there shouldn't be any reason why they can't tell you that you're looking like shit or you put a bit of weight on or whatever.
People in glass houses, though, you don't want to
Yeah.
cast the first stone or whatever it's.
So was that your moment, Matt, when your mates sort of saw you when you got back from Vietnam and you decided to make some change, or was there something else that...
It was, and I had in my head for a while, like, got to clean up my diet, got to work out. I had this vision, like me being healthy and strong. This is when I wasn't strong, maybe 2014. Came back to Australia 2015. I was working with someone and she said she had a gym membership, and I thought, all right, sign me up. I'm going to start. I remember lifting 30 kilos and I struggled just with the light weights. I went home and I was sore for days because I hadn't exercised for 20 years. I thought, I'm going to keep going. I just kept going for 3 years at the gym. Was listening to, just soaking up all the information from podcasts, and I was getting more info. I think it was Saladino on Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, with Macaulay and
the Lion Diet. And I listened to them. I was like, wow, this is a thing. Full meat. It's a few years ago.
I can get on board with this.
I thought it was a little bit, it was out there,
Yeah.
not wacky, but like that's pretty extreme. But I listened to more and more and it started to click. Like our ancestors would have been very meat heavy.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even all the stuff we do.
All the
Getting
stuff
out
we
the
do.
sun.
Getting out sun, all those things. But I thought diet's the key. Cleaned it up. Started to go more and more meat-based slowly, cutting out more things. I cut out grains, sugar, all the processed carbs, cut out a lot of alcohol. That's a big thing. I have occasional drink on the weekend, but that was a big thing. So my gut disappeared.
Yeah.
That happened pretty fast.
Yeah.
Going to the gym and just cutting all that junk out, just lost the gut. Started to build up muscle.
Yeah, dropping the alcohol is a big one, I reckon. It's just empty calories, isn't it? We've
Empty
talked about
calories,
it. It's a toxin. The body preferentially gets, prioritizes that to get rid of out of your body, and all the other things sort of get stored as fat. So
What was
it's
the
just a fat storage.
what was the training protocol that you had in those initial days at the gym? What were you?
It was around, I started 2015, was at the gym for about 3 years, just standard weights, just following what everyone else was doing. I didn't really know at the beginning. And then I saw Ninja Warrior on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was sitting back with a beer. I was like,
I can
do that. And I did it. And I was going to the gym for 3 years and I had one session there. And I remember I couldn't even physically, it was hard to drive home. My arms were just, they were stuck and my forearms are just bulging. Yeah. It's like, this is above and beyond what anyone would do at a gym. And I was hooked. I was like, I'm going to get strong. And I did that for 2 years. Yeah. Just kept going with Ninja Warrior training, and all the guys on TV from Perth, they train there. Yep. I mean, I'm nowhere near them. I look at them like, geez,
next level.
Man, next level. They call them next level ninjas.
Yeah,
That's the name.
Yeah, right.
But I learned from them about how to train, how to work out, not how to gain muscle. I took that on myself with just all the information I was getting from podcasts, and then I started a course in nutrition, so I took that on myself.
Yep.
And then I got into bouldering, which is climbing without ropes.
Yeah.
So it's like a full body workout, basically.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of your posts on Instagram have got your climbing,
Yeah.
like rock face
Impressive
climbing.
work.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Works your full body.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're quite nimble getting up there. Like you're swinging and your legs up, foot's up
right.
there, and your hands
It's
there.
a lot of explosive movements.
Yeah.
You do that for about 20 seconds, have a bit of a rest for a minute, and then you do it again. So it's like
Yeah.
those hard explosive movements using your hands, forearms, your core,
Yep.
use your legs, a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
So that for me, that's a nice natural movement. And then I incorporate some weights to do calisthenics, weighted calisthenics.
Yeah.
Add that as well, handstands.
So
Okay.
you're talking before about sort of initially getting into the gym and that first. I think we've talked about it on previous podcasts about that initial haven't worked out for 20 years. You go to the gym, you do that initial workout. It's hard lifting 30 kilos. You're sore for 4 days. I reckon at that point there's a lot of people that would go, "That is too hard. I'm not doing that again." Would you have any advice for those type of people that, you know, is it a mindset thing? We did talk about goal setting in the last podcast. Do you need some goals? I mean, Matt Smith and I were talking about, you know, goal setting, and we're kind of the type of people that say if we're going to do something, we just go and do it. Do we need a short-term goal, or would you have any advice for those people out there? Because your story would be similar to a lot of people, you know, have several issues, don't know what it is, you know, how do they start? And that first one of going to the gym and getting through that initial hard phase of, you know, the DOMs of 2 or 3 days, soreness. Yeah. Did you have anything in there? You just, I'm going to do this. I've got this long-term goal. I'm just going to get it done.
I already had that vision. I could
Yeah,
picture myself as being fit and strong
Yeah.
with more muscle. I just had that vision.
We
And
actually,
I wanted to hit there. I didn't know how long it was going to take.
yeah.
And I thought, just persevere. The first session in the gym for 20 years, it's
Yeah.
kind of hurt,
Oh, yeah.
right? And then you keep going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I saw older guys in the gym. I thought, well, they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Why can't I?
why can't I?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked in our goal setting one we've just done. We talked about visualization and how big it can be. Yeah.
What about your protocol? Do you still go to the gym?
No.
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 It's more the
Natural.
calisthenics and it's more the climbing.
There's a small gym at the bouldering center.
yeah.
So
Oh,
we
yeah.
warm up there, do cool downs, or if we're sore, if we're a bit tired of climbing, we just
Yeah.
hit the gym. So they got all the weights, they got everything we need, all the
Yeah,
equipment.
cool.
Yeah. Do you still lift at all? Do you lift weights still?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Still have to work my legs because bouldering's pretty much upper body. There's
Yeah.
a bit of legs, but still need to do squats and weighted squats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon
Work the
bouldering
core.
would be pretty ancestral.
Absolutely.
The ancestral man would have
Yeah.
been bouldering around.
And what a great
climbing
way
up
to
things
exercise, because
and-
you're in nature, you're in fresh air, you've got
Yeah.
some sunlight beating down on you. It's very, it's very aligned with sort of what we're
Definitely.
into. Yeah.
Mm.
So we've done a few podcasts back when we were early on. We all had sort of 3 things. What would we do if we were health president of the world? You know, Klaus Schwab had given us given us
Give us
the
the power.
keys to the world. What 3 things would you recommend for someone that's sort of kicking off, or you know wants to get into health and be healthier? What 3 things would you do? I think we sort of things like sunlight and.
Well, we won't steal his thunder.
No, okay, yeah, we'll let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were king of the
We'll give you
world
that
and the
one.
world had to comply,
Ooh, that's
A
very,
mandate.
Or else
yeah, or else.
my mandate.
Yeah.
I'd have to give a mandate on diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Diet's
think
the
there,
first
there
one.
might be a few vegans that
Yeah.
disagree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big one is for me, and I think for a lot of people is diet. And I think for guys that hit 40 and beyond, it's important to sustain a healthy diet, and that's really ties into testosterone levels too. And
Yeah.
you talked about it on a different podcast I listened to, which is
Yeah.
great. There's a lot of evidence behind eating meat, and especially fatty meat, to improve testosterone and to gain more muscle. And I noticed that, and I've got 2 boys, and they said that as well. Like, Dad, you're ripped. Like, must have been all that muscle. They noticed in the last year and a half, because I had some before, but it's really been more pronounced in the last year and a half with eating a lot more meat, eat like up to 1 kilogram a day.
Yeah, right.
So it's all that's really heavy protein, bioavailable protein. So
Yeah.
I'm getting that and all the great nutrients in meat as well.
And is that testosterone link with the meat eating, with the cholesterol? Does that influence testosterone production
Yes.
with the higher cholesterol in the meat?
All linked together.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say to people simply just increase your red meat intake. For people that don't eat much, you can eat as much as you like. I can go 1 kilogram, have no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely red meat and fatty red meat. There's evidence to suggest that fatty cuts can increase it even more.
Sure.
So that's a big one.
Just out of
Paddy,
curiosity.
can I ask,
Yeah.
are you selective with your meat source?
Yes.
So are you organic, grass fed? Are these things that you look into yourself, or you're not as fussed with the type of meat?
I am pretty picky. There's a lot of, I guess you call them carnivore celebrities. They just say eat whatever. But there is a difference between rubbish meat from the supermarket that's grain fed and grass. I go grass fed from a local butcher, and I asked them where they source from, and they said there's some local farms in Margaret River. I'm like,
Beautiful.
and I said, is everything? What meat here is free range? What's grass fed? And the butcher gave me this look. He said, "What everything is."
Oh, really?
He looked at me like, "That's
Great.
a stupid question." I'm like, "I come to the right place.
This is the right butcher.
I
Yeah.
just eat everything
Wow.
here."
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think there's a
So-
huge difference in grain-fed versus grass-fed when you look at the nutrient content and how good it is for you. So
Yeah.
The fatty acid profile.
Oh yeah, yeah,
all of
100%.
that,
Yeah.
And also with nutrition, you're getting vitamin A from meat, but even more from organ meat. So I'm big on that.
What's your favourite organ meat? Because a lot of them do taste like shit.
They do. Liver's a strong one.
Yeah.
Yeah, very powdery, isn't it?
You can cook it.
The
Yeah.
texture. You can mix it in with mince or something. You can
Yeah.
rate it,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with kids that
Yeah.
need a little bit. Mix it
Yep.
in.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Barbell
I've-
Foods do a good one. A powdered beef liver, grass fed, grass finished.
Definitely go with
Yeah.
the good supplements if you
Drop it in.
don't want to
Drop
eat
it
it.
in for the
Mm.
kids.
Yep.
They won't eat it.
I like heart.
Mm.
It's like tastes like a fatty muscle meat. It is a muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's classed as an organ. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, ox heart, sheep heart, like a good breakfast meat for me, fried
Yeah.
up in butter.
Yeah. Nice.
My friends say, yeah, that's not a typical breakfast.
No. Yeah.
And do you order these through your butcher, mate, that you just mentioned?
Yep.
Yep.
They're all there.
Yeah,
It's got
right.
everything. It's got I like kangaroo as well.
Oh, I love
Oh,
Roo.
how good is
Yeah,
kangaroo?
Love it. Yeah, it's really
Butcher
fun.
sells it.
Quite hard to find now because I was getting it at the local supermarket, like nice kangaroo steaks, but they're not putting them on the shelves anymore.
It's
Yeah.
supply and demand. Maybe people don't.
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
prices
Much.
did go up too, I noticed, during COVID, and that's with a lot of things, and prices didn't come back
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your butcher's providing you with Roo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been stocking it for the last couple of months, so I was surprised.
Yeah, good.
Jump on
Yeah.
that.
That's great. Yeah.
And is that just muscle meat from the Roo, or you eat?
Yeah, muscle meat,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
steaks.
You don't eat
Steaks.
organs
Okay.
from Roo? Is that a thing?
I haven't found them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you know of any, I would,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
give it a go.
Yeah.
So I'm sure any dude out there can just go and find their local butcher and ask a few questions, like you have, to source some good quality meat and
Oh,
organs.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
there's
I
plenty
think
of butchers around, good butchers.
that's the way to go. There's
Yeah.
such a big difference, and I'm sure you notice with the taste when you go
Yeah.
buy it from the supermarket versus the butcher.
And the
Big
color of the
difference.
fat and the
Color of the meat.
yeah.
And you're supporting a family-owned business as opposed to a corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's good online ones in Perth. Dirty Clean Food's a really good one.
Yeah. I think
It's-
Ginger and
it's
Beef do
frozen.
some
Ginger and Beef's
grass-fed,
another good
grass-finished stuff as
Yeah.
well. So there's some online, and those
Yeah.
guys deliver if you're in the suburbs.
Yeah, I know.
So if you can't get down to a local butcher or something like that, sometimes they can be all right.
Yeah, I know Dirty Clean do organs.
Yeah, they
Beef-
also do a
beef-
mixture, Dirty
beef
Clean. They
tallow.
do
You
a
can get some tallow.
they do a beef mince with a bit of organ mixed in. I think it's like 75-25% or something like that. So you can trick your kids and trick yourself.
There's a place I found called Mahogany Creek.
Oh,
You have to. They've got a website. You need to order online, and then they give you a call and confirm the order.
Right.
You can get camel. I've ordered
Oh, yeah.
buffalo mince.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kangaroo. Got
Yeah.
root tail.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They got
Wow.
a lot of different stuff there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's more like they're a wholesaler. You got to go to the back door. They give you a
Yeah,
box.
yeah.
They have a shop front,
Yeah.
but they sell to some restaurants in Perth.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'd like
Yeah.
to try
They
some
have a
Check it
bison.
out.
distribution centre here in Perth.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Are they in Mahogany Creek or the suburb?
I think it's up near Balga. Not far from
okay.
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
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 yeah.
Just check him out online.
Where's Mahogany Creek? Never heard of that place.
Oh, that's up in the Perth Hills.
All right.
Near Mundaring, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just the name of the business.
Yep.
Yeah. Matt, I'm interested. Did you ever do any testing sort of before and after you started your wellness journey in terms of like your cholesterol or your testosterone or any sort of markers, or
I
were you just
have.
guided by how you felt?
Um,
And I'm not asking you to give
No, no.
specifics, but just
no, it's good. Really good question, because I think that's something we need to check.
Yeah.
I didn't check it in the past, but I checked it. Might have been 4 or 5 months ago. Went to the GP, got the blood test done. He asked me. I can talk about the blood test in a moment, but he was funny about it.
Yeah.
I said,
Why?
He said why?
Why do you want to do
I
that?
said, can you check my testosterone? Check all my levels.
Yeah.
I said, especially, I want to check iron.
Yep.
He asked me all these questions about what I eat, and his eyebrow raised a little bit when I said it's really meat heavy. He said, it basically changed everything into a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, we're going to have to check your cholesterol levels. I was like, fair enough, do it. And I said, I like to optimize my sun exposure. I like vitamin D. He's like, we'll check for skin cancer. I was like, come on.
Real glass half
I said,
empty
I don't
kind
have
of
any
guy.
spots. I look good. I got a tan, like no spots, you know.
Yeah.
But it was interesting.
When I asked my doctor I did that, and the reason why I asked him was, similar to you, sort of changed my eating habits. I said, I've changed my eating habits. I want to check this, this, and this, just to make sure that everything's cool. When I asked for testosterone, he said something along the lines of, "Why did you want to test that?" I said, "Well,
Why not?
he said, "Well, if it's low, we'll have to do something about it." That was his response.
There you go.
Too hard basket.
What? If it's low, yes, we will do something about it. And that's why I'm testing it. Come on, man.
The guy I saw was similar. I said, can you test my testosterone? And he's like, okay.
Why?
Where? Kind of like, why? And I said, I like to optimize my testosterone. I'm trying to increase it naturally. He's like, wow, you can do that? That's a thing?
Are you for real? This is a doctor.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a good segue. Good
It's
segue
very
into
interesting.
ways to boost testosterone naturally.
Yeah.
We've only given you one. We're still
Um,
on the
I'm still
nutrition,
on
but we can circle back to that.
We'll
Yeah.
circle back to that,
Yeah.
as they say, circle back.
Yeah.
With the blood test, I had got my testosterone tested. It was 700 and something. It's good healthy range.
Yeah.
He said a lot of high iron levels. It's available. Slightly high cholesterol levels, total cholesterol levels. I said, well, what about my triglycerides? Because that's a really good measure of true health. He said, oh, yeah, triglycerides are low. I'm like, well, that's within a normal range. And if you compare that to my total cholesterol levels, which are slightly elevated, it's all within a healthy range, isn't it, Doc? And he said, well done, detective. Can you believe that? I was like, is there anything else? No, goodbye. Like,
Sounds like he was disappointed that
I
your
know.
alternative lifestyle wasn't working out as badly as he thought it might.
You got me because he wanted to prescribe statins.
Yeah.
You got me, you know.
Yeah. I was
They're quick on the statin
Yeah.
prescriptions. If you go in there and there's any mention of any sort of cholesterol, statins.
Yeah.
Yeah, my doc said to me, I want to get you on statins, and I said, well, I'll go do we're talking about it before. We'll go do a coronary calcium score, and if it comes back, I'll get on them. And it came back 0, and nobody followed up. Nobody rang me back. Nobody said anything.
Another disappointed
Amazing.
doctor.
Yeah. So I thought, okay.
There's a big gap between natural health and conventional medicine at the moment, isn't there, in terms of thinking, and we just seem to be polar opposites, which is a shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame there's not more integration of all this knowledge into one sort of one-stop shop for wellness, because
Seems it's getting worse too.
I mean, you go and speak to those guys and everything is just a prescription or a pill.
Yeah.
We're sort of at the other end of the spectrum where everything is diet and lifestyle, and
It's like conventional medicine's aim is to keep us constantly unhealthy.
Yeah.
For their own.
I mean, the
industry
problem I have with that
benefits.
is you go and then they give you a tablet, but it never cures you. It just suppresses what's happening for the rest. You take a tablet forever.
Yeah.
Well, if there was an end date, if there was a cure, they said take it for 8 weeks and you get better. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe, but
Let's just mark the
let's just dull the symptoms down so they're sub-perceptual. You don't notice they're there. Everything's still happening below the surface. But you got to take this tablet forever. Well,
Yeah.
There is a whole podcast on the medical system, isn't there?
Oh,
You could-
yeah.
and how bad it is.
not
Yeah.
to bag them out. Like doctors are, probably good people for the most part, but it's just
Oh,
it's just a big divide at the moment.
trying their
in,
best,
in
aren't they?
They're
thinking.
stuck
yeah.
in this system.
Yeah.
It's the whole that whole thinking, that whole paradigm. They're stuck in. They've been trained in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of them, if they think differently, they lose their license.
Yeah,
They can't.
yeah.
They got to
That's
go
it.
with.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
And I think
And they're gonna
also,
need to.
like you said, like you've done some training in nutrition as well, and some doctors might go and do training in nutrition, but for a 5 or a 7 minute consult, you're not going to give anyone any real golden nuggets to go away and work on. It's really just a model where you sit down, what are your symptoms? Here's the pill for it, out you go. There's no time for health coaching and that sort of thing. It's just
And most people want that.
yeah.
General population.
Yeah, well, it's easier.
I'm going to take this drug and I'll be good.
Hmm.
Don't want
I think
hard
the
yards.
greater concern in all that, guys, which we've sort of briefly touched on before, and Matt, I don't know if you've sort of had to be relatively careful yourself the last few years, but there seems to be a real shift across all areas of medical practice, you know, whether it's mental health, general GP practice, hospitalisation, all that sort of thing around. There is a real quietening down of people having opinions. I know, I won't say who it is, but we all know who the governing body of psychology is within Australia, and certainly free thought within that area of practice has been very restricted in the last couple of years. And you know, when we look at what the ethos of medical practice around the world has been, I think one of their footprints is do no harm. And I think the scary thing is we see a lot of highly qualified, highly skilled medical practitioners who called out a lot of the nonsense in the last few years, who have been pushed out of practice. And I just wondered, Matt, is that something you've had to be careful with as well? Is there any regulators or regulations you've had to adhere to in order to still, I guess, continue promoting a message that would be considered a little bit outside the box?
It's you raised some really good points, and that's a good question. So my outlet is on Instagram.
Yeah.
Still have to be mindful about the message, because I know if people are sharing that and if it's too extreme, I guess you call it. There's some people that have their posts removed. If people are say if they've got a YouTube channel, we've seen a lot of YouTube channels removed in the last 2-3 years. I don't want to be one of those people. Still want to put the message out there. So just got to be mindful not to push it too much. But with what I do, I think there's a lot of other people in the health sphere, in the carnivore meat-based sphere. The message, almost all the time is really positive and really good.
Yeah.
And we back it up with evidence. If I post something and I've got the info there, I've got the sources. Like there's evidence behind it. It's not just I'm not just drawing the information from thin air.
Yeah.
There's something substantial behind it.
So you've never had a post
Flagged?
flagged?
Not yet.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Well,
You've been flagged.
Yeah.
Misinformation.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's
we
almost
live
a
in
badge of honour,
we
isn't
live in
it?
a climate
Yeah.
now where, like you just said, you have the evidence there. Sometimes even evidence counts for shit.
That's right.
Like it's irrelevant. They ignore it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the biggest issue against carnivore at the moment, I'm quite a fan of the carnivore diet. I think it's got some really good health benefits, is this environmental sort of angle that they come against it. Beef's going to destroy the world and climate change, and I see that as being a barrier maybe moving forward in the coming years of sort of red meat-based diets.
Especially meat, it's one of the things.
A lot of people are promoting sustainable farming,
Mm.
regenerative farming.
Yes.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
That's the answer
I
to this
agree.
argument, isn't it?
That
About the
is,
fake meat.
It
Yeah,
is,
it's great for, if you look at, for the planet, moving away from monocropping and large-scale industrial farming and going back to small farms.
Chemicals
Yeah.
and
having organic food, whether that's
Yep.
organic produce or free-range animals that are healthy.
Yeah.
And that's really good for soil health as well.
Yeah.
It's all a great cycle.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely,
Well, even
definitely
the
the way.
cows can graze on hills and stuff. We can't monocrop those hills, so they're going
That's
to
a
walk around.
great
Yep.
argument.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're not chopping down rainforests, or they might be in Brazil for beef production.
Yeah.
But in almost every other place in the world, you can have cows on hillsides,
Yeah.
rocky places, and same as
Eat all
definitely
that grass.
sheep and
Yeah.
goats.
Yeah.
We don't need to clear land. They've
Oh,
got
some of the-
land that's unused, that you can't build on,
Yeah.
you can't grow
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I've seen some cattle farms out in the Pilbara, and it's like a rocky desert.
Yeah,
It's the worst land, and
there's
they got all
cows
these
everywhere out there.
cattle out there. They're grazing
Great.
thousands and thousands of head of cattle. It's like, what a great use of the land, because it's not very fertile cropping.
50 degrees out there.
Oh, brutal.
The leather will be leathery.
Oh, yeah.
But
then you've got
Strong
philanthropists
hides.
who are trying to
Wow.
push their fake meat. You know, they need to get rid of the cattle industry. I don't see it
Yeah, I'm
happening.
not a huge fan of the soy-based meat. It's just me.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
know. You know, if it's got 30 ingredients, it must be good, right? more ingredients, the better.
A couple of chemicals in there. Yeah.
If you turn that around, and I tell people, if there's something in the food that you can't pronounce,
Exactly.
don't eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's very simple.
Yeah.
Don't eat it.
Well, don't put it on your skin.
Don't put it on
you
your
know?
skin.
Yeah, we've talked about sunscreens and a lot of
Yeah.
things with there's chemical compounds on there that you wouldn't even, if you had to put them all into a glass and drink it, you wouldn't go near it.
No.
So why put it on your skin?
Exactly.
Mm.
And all those toxins in beauty products and shampoos and soaps, they're full of
Yeah.
so many toxic
Phthalates.
compounds. Yeah.
phthalates, we're big on the phthalate.
Yeah.
So we've got nutrition.
Yeah, we could circle back.
Number two?
We could talk about
Yeah,
all
we
sorts
could-
of stuff
yeah.
all day, right?
Yeah.
This could be a 10-hour podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nutrition, yeah, I was going to touch on creatine in meat, big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Do you supplement with creatine?
No, I just eat no supplements.
Yeah. You don't have no subs at all?
No subs at all.
No.
I mean, if you're eating a kilo of red meat,
Yeah.
you'd be getting tons of
You're getting some
creatine. You would
Tons.
not
I've
need
got
to.
that. Some organ meats, I call them my natural supplements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of liver, kidney, bit
Yeah.
of heart. Don't overdo it too much, just here and there. You got omega-3s as well in meat. And fish is a big one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have fish sometimes.
Hmm.
Sardines, smaller fish.
Yeah, perfect.
And I combine that with intermittent fasting.
Oh, yeah.
So I
That'd be
don't.
number 2. So if we're giving you 3 as the
I'm going
health-
to tie it in with nutrition.
Okay.
I've got
Sneaky,
two
yeah,
others.
well done.
yeah.
Yeah, tricky.
Yeah.
Can I ask, Matty? We've spoken a bit on the podcast about supplementation, and one of the most underutilized supplements across the planet that we all sort of use relatively regularly was magnesium.
Mm.
Now, if you're not utilizing any supplements, where are you getting your magnesium from, and how do you find your levels of magnesium?
That's something I didn't get tested. That's a good question. I know there's magnesium in fish. I don't eat avocados. And eggs have some magnesium. I eat quite a lot of eggs. It's good to check those levels, but like with the GP I saw, he asked a few questions and said, well, basically I don't need to test anything because you're in perfect health. I said,
Yeah.
please test something because that's why I'm here. I think if I went back, that would be one of them because I know some people in the meat-based carnivore community, they can be low in magnesium, potassium. There's a couple of big ones.
I know Saladino talks about the magnesium might be the normal daily values being higher than he
Right.
thinks you need. Yeah.
That's all those standard values are based on a standard
Yeah.
American or
Yeah.
Australian diet as well,
Yeah.
where they may not be absorbing those effectively.
How did you start off with your intermittent fasting? What sort of what were the hour breakups that you started with, and have you progressed to another
There's
protocol?
16-8 to have 2 meals, sometimes extend that, so eat 2 meals within a 8-hour window. So I eat around 9:30 and again around 4:35.
Yeah.
So if I have a meat-based meal in the morning, I won't be hungry until 5.
It's very satiating, isn't it? Eating the meat.
Oh, so
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I might
fats,
have a
yeah.
little snack in the middle of the day, like occasionally eat a piece of fruit,
Yeah.
have a glass of raw milk, have some yogurt, but that's about it in the middle of the day. And then another big meat-based meal at the end of the day.
Yeah. Is
How
that
do
with
you-
the family for
Yeah, I was gonna
dinner?
ask, yeah.
How do you integrate that?
My kids are on board. They're starting to eat in the same way.
Oh, yeah, nice.
My younger
Yeah.
son, he's just about to turn 15. He said, I want to get ripped like you.
Yeah, yeah.
What do I do?
Great.
Well, isn't that
Like,
perfect?
you come to the right place.
Yeah. Perfect to be a great role model for your kids. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we eat in the same way, 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, 2 meals, 2 meat-based meals. And then it's really easy to fast because I'm so satiated. After that second meal, I wake up and I'm not even hungry, really.
Yeah.
It's very different to coming off those high carb insulin spikes,
Yeah.
isn't it? And then you
Oh,
crash and you're
definitely.
so hungry and you feel like you just can't cope with any food.
And snacking all the time. I used to open up my pantry every 2
Yeah.
hours. Like, I've got to eat something.
yeah,
Need
like
to
when you're a
snack.
fat burner, you just got sort of just smooth energy.
Mm.
Doesn't seem to be any
Yeah.
And I noticed that translates really well with my workouts when I'm, eating this way.
Fasted workouts?
I've tried fasted workouts, no problem.
Yeah.
But just eating 2 meals a day and then working out.
Yep.
I've got sustained energy. I could climb for 2.5 hours, no problem. It's just incredible compared to how I was in the past and how I used to eat in the past, and I couldn't last 45 minutes in the gym.
Yeah.
It's different now.
It's amazing the energy levels that you can acquire from the fasting. And I mean, I'm sort of more keto sort of base. I have a high fat diet, and I just find that if I'm eating at around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the arvo, I've still got this great energy to go get me through to the afternoon and evening. I'm still doing things with unlimited amount of energy.
Right.
It's a great feeling.
It's we're fat burners. I think maybe we're all fat burners. I'm the same. I eat a lot of fat, and I source it from meat, so fatty cuts of meat.
Yep.
So I think it's important to be a fat burner because you can sustain those workouts for long periods.
Yeah.
You're not going to get hungry as well.
So is your workout in the middle of your meals, is it? So you said you eat at 9:30 in the morning, and your next one's at around 5-ish?
4:35, and then I'll go and work out around 6:30.
Okay.
So an hour and a half after.
Yep.
Feels fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you, like, in between those, are you climbing or doing anything? What do you do for work?
I'm a business coach, so I help people get into small business for the first time.
Yep.
That's a full-time gig.
Yeah, right.
Online training, working for a company. We get funded by the federal government.
Yeah.
So it's all a government scheme to get people into small business.
Oh, okay.
So we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Work with naturopaths, nutritionalists, sort of keep it on the low what I do on the side in case people raise their eyebrows. Hang on. Keep it on the low.
Yeah.
There's bigger conflicts in the world, isn't there?
Yeah. If they're my clients, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to conflict with them. So.
Yeah. I mean, energy levels is just one benefit of intermittent fasting. There are so many other benefits. You know, just overall health and just that you talked about brain fog earlier that you had previously. I mean, that the intermittent fasting just clears that up. You're sort of so much more aware, and you just don't have that sluggishness.
You're running on a different fuel, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's also, it drives muscle growth. So you've got that in combination with eating a meat-heavy diet. You get that protein from the meat. You've got all those other nutrients that are going to, creatine is going to drive muscle growth and strength. And then you've got intermittent fasting is going to drive muscle growth further.
Hormones,
Yeah. So you got those two together.
Yeah. Good recipe.
So moving on to the second point.
Yeah.
We'll get there today.
Yeah. No,
it's a simple one. It's exercise.
Yep.
And that's another one that's going to drive, of course, muscle growth. It's going to drive testosterone. So fatty cuts of meat, fasting, and exercise all can drive.
Your big heavy compound exercises, your squats, your deadlifts. I've read that those are good contributors
Bit
to
of sprinting.
Yeah.
Explosive
I've read
sort of
that those are really good.
I've read that they are good at boosting testosterone.
Oh yeah,
those heavy compound exercises.
You kind of sound like I've read about these things called deadlifting,
and maybe one day I'll try it.
You deadlift 200 over there, mate.
I've seen some people on YouTube doing it. I was like, I'll try that one day.
I've read about this. I've read about this deadlifting thing. Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry, I cut you off there.
But even just a half an hour walk, it doesn't have to be.
Start with that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. Zone 2 cardio is pretty big at the moment, and the 10,000 steps is it's an arbitrary number, isn't it? But it's something to aim for. It's a little bit of movement. We talked about starting that health journey. Maybe that's a good one. Going for a walk.
Oh, it's the best way to trim body fat. I just find if I just spend 2 weeks of maybe 3 times a week doing a fast walk at 45 minutes, and I'm walking like I'm in a hurry, my body fat I'm ripped.
You're big on that. I remember you talking about that years ago.
When I was kickboxing, there were some fighters that were like preparing for their weigh-ins, and they would obviously dial down their training intensity before the fight, but they would do those long walks, keeping their heart rate up, but they would just also trim their body fat as well for their weigh-ins, and obviously for looking fitter in the fight.
Super good after a meal as well. If you had your nighttime meal, go for a walk, and you're sort of burning off all that energy from dinner, and just really aids with fat burning and
glucose regulation.
That.
Yeah, exactly. I'm big on walks too. Yeah, especially out in the sun.
Yeah.
Walks,
you're near the beach.
Walking,
on the beach.
5 minutes away.
Yeah, get grounded.
So get grounded, barefoot walking in the sun.
Beauty.
Go to the local park, shirt off, barefoot. Sometimes people give me a look and I'm like,
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doing my thing.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, well,
I'm an ancestral man in the park.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
I think that's Mickey Max was a big one on the grounding and getting the light, and yeah, it was a good one.
And that moves on to my third point, vitamin D, getting in the sun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
It's going to
one.
drive testosterone again.
Yep.
It's a huge one.
Yeah.
There's not enough sun exposure. People
Yeah.
in offices generally and
Yeah.
at home and
Safe sun exposure. Say.
yeah, safe.
Yeah.
You know when I don't wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
Don't think none of us do.
But
No,
you can
no.
you can acclimatise yourself to the sun.
Yes,
I mean, I
definitely.
know that in springtime I start wearing no shirt out the back, mowing the lawn, whatever. I don't get burnt, but I start to brown up a little bit. But I never get red skin. And then obviously by summertime I can still go out and wear no shirt. I don't burn. Obviously avoiding maybe 11 till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, a real hot summer's day.
Then
But
you can cover up, can't you? You get a bit of
You
sun.
can,
to cover up.
Yeah.
chuck a hat on or chuck a shirt on, but you can definitely acclimatise your skin to the sun.
Definitely.
I think diet plays a big part as well. If you're sort of very inflamed and you've got a lot of seed oils in your diet and things like that, you're going to burn really quick. Whereas if you've got a pretty good, clean diet, you're going to have a lot more resistance to the sun. So your first point definitely, I would say, comes into sort of managing your sun exposure so you're not getting burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people jumping out of their homes after brekkie, hopping in the car, going to work, spending the day in the office. Maybe might go out for a walk to get something, probably shit food in the city, at lunch break. Back in the office, back in the car, home. How much sun have they seen for the day?
No sun.
Yeah. Well, we're terrified of the sun.
3,000 steps.
People are
maybe.
bloody shit scared of the sun.
Yeah.
So
You're
that
going to go out in the sun
propaganda out
for
there again.
5 minutes and you're going to get
Fear the
skin
sun.
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. We're all chronically deficient. Not all of us, but
I'm sure you guys noticed as well when you made the shift, when you cut out sugar and seed oils.
Yeah.
I used to burn in 15, 20 minutes. I was
it's a
pale.
big
I
difference.
was even less, I reckon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Seed oils are massive.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Contribute to burn.
Yeah.
definitely. So easy to tan now.
Yeah.
Now, when spring came, sort of eased into it. It's a bit hard, if you haven't had that much sun through the
Yeah.
winter. But like you said, you can ease into it,
Yeah.
build up the tolerance again, and then in the middle of summer, you can handle it.
Yeah.
I'll go out for an hour and a half, no problem.
Yeah.
And if it
Yeah.
gets too hot, just put on a shirt and a hat.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Ancestral Man would have done. He wouldn't have been standing out in the middle of the midday sun, just simmering on a really hot day. He would have found a
course not.
shady tree, and
Yeah.
it's natural, isn't it?
Needs to
no
conserve his energy. The sun just saps you.
human is going to just stand out in the sun all day. But I think we're way too scared of the sun, and we need to just work it into our life and work out ways to be in it. If you've got to carry a hat and you put one on after a while, then so be it. But
Yeah.
get your shirt off and get your body exposed and
Mm.
get out and show as much of your body to the sun as you possibly can, and get that whole body vitamin, sun exposure, so you're getting vitamin D. It's super important.
And if you do need to maybe screen up, maybe if you have to, get some of those
Natural
alternative natural zincs or like avocado sun cream, that sort of stuff. There's alternatives out there than the mainstream chemical-based sun
Exactly,
creams.
yeah. I use,
Oxybenzene sun creams.
if I'm out the whole day, like on a boat, I do free diving as well, so sometimes out the whole day at Rotto.
Yep.
I got some surf wax, just put that on my nose, my
Oh, yeah.
forehead.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's natural wax, beeswax and zinc.
Beauty.
that's
yeah,
it.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it's like the wax you put on a board?
Oh, it's called surf wax. It's
Oh.
zinc for surfers.
Yeah, right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought you talked sex wax.
Oh,
you know,
sex
the-
wax.
Yeah.
Hey, Smitty, weren't you
Surf
saying coconut oil has an SPF factor?
Yeah, it's got an SPF of like
7 or
7 or
something,
8 or something like that. Just
Yeah,
just
right.
extra virgin coconut oil. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's you would eat that. I do eat that.
Yeah.
You'd smell amazing.
You smell
Yeah.
very nutty. Yeah,
Well,
have a real shine about you.
I've been moisturising with that
Oh,
in the
yeah?
mornings and in
Yeah.
the evening after a shower. I've just been
Nice.
using the coconut oil all over my skin. It feels great.
Yeah.
I love it. It's really nice.
I love the smell of coconut.
Radiant.
Yeah.
Radiant.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stay oily for too long. It soaks in pretty quick.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And then the old swashing around in the mouth that we talked about.
Oh, yeah. Oil
Yeah.
pulling. Yeah.
Oil pulling. Yeah, I do that as well.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, vitamin D. I've got here. It's a hormone, pro hormone.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's essential for building muscle.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. It all comes back to guys over 40
Yeah.
who want to have a healthy life and lose the fat and gain muscle. There's so much evidence behind having muscle into older age and having the more muscle you have, basically, the longer you'll live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got better bone health. It's going to drive disease rates down.
Yep.
Or susceptibility to getting disease, going to drive it down. So building muscle, so super important.
Yeah, and just your general functional mobility. You know, you're not hunched over. You're not taking little shuffle steps as you get older. You know, you still got a good stride. You've got good hip and leg strength. You know, you avoid falls as you get older. I still want to be a 60-year-old man doing deadlifts.
You are. What are you talking about? Got it. You set yourself up for that.
What about fermented foods, mate? I noticed on your Instagram you did a fermented beef, and I just want to. It looks so nice when you pulled this piece out of the jar, and you said, "Here's a 3-week piece of beef," and you took a bite out of it, and it was like nice and sort of like a cooked grey colour on the outside, and a little bit of pink in the inside, like it'd been medium cooked. How do you go about doing that? Because I'm really interested in giving that a try. Is it just water and sugar?
Yes, sugar's a good starter for it.
Oh, sorry, salt? Is it salt?
Yeah, salt.
Salt.
You can add sugar as a starter. Some people add vegetables to get it going as well. So you could add carrot or something in there to get it fermenting.
Okay.
So you can ferment basically anything. I've done eggs, 3-week-old eggs. You can leave them in the fridge for.
Is that in the shell? Like
no,
you crack them in.
Yeah, boil them first.
Oh,
and then ferment it in salt.
Yeah,
you can add some herbs for flavour.
So almost like a pickled egg sort of thing.
Like a pickled egg.
Yeah, obviously fermented.
Yeah, so I didn't mean sugar. I meant salt. So with the beef, it's just in salted water, or like you say, some sort of carrot or something to help it ferment.
That's right. And you need something to get it going a bit better. If it's just meat, it's not really going to take off. So add a little bit of sugar or vegetable, it's going to ferment a bit better.
Yeah.
In the past when I ate more veg, I used to do fermented carrot, so that's a good one. You can leave them in a jar for a year in the fridge. It's still got a crunch.
Yeah, right.
Kimchi.
And how long can you leave the beef?
Starts to get a bit soft after about 6 weeks.
Right.
Eggs, a month. I've done a month and then take them out and they kind of crumble.
Yeah.
So it doesn't last as long. But you can imagine in the past, they didn't have refrigeration. They salted everything.
Pretty ancestral for sure.
Things were fermented.
Yeah.
Right through Europe during the winter, they used to ferment everything, have them in jars.
Yeah.
So they'd have a big crop, growing season, big produce.
Yeah.
And then ferment
Didn't
everything.
want to waste anything.
Yeah.
Didn't waste anything. And then they could eat that through the winter.
And so good for our gut health as well, fermented foods.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a big one for gut health, for adding diversity and better gut flora.
Yep.
Is fermented foods
Yeah.
and not fiber.
Do you ever have any like sauerkraut or kimchis or anything like that sort of on the side of your meat, or are you pretty strict?
I do. I sometimes add it. Like I'll cook up the meat and add sometimes sauerkraut or kimchi or whatever. Just add something fermented in there, and I make most of it myself. Just add it to the end. Don't want to heat it too much. It's going to kill the good probiotic properties of it.
Yeah.
But that's something I throw in. Sure.
Yeah. I think that's a really good idea, just for, like you say, the microbial diversity. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to give that a go.
Yeah, that seems cool.
That-
Good
that-
little snack.
Oh, that piece of steak you took out, it looks so nice and juicy. Good.
It was good too.
Yeah.
Had a lot of flavour. It soaks up. I can't remember what I put in it. It might have been some herbs and pepper.
Yep.
And it really soaks up those flavours too.
Yeah, right.
Enhances that.
Yep. You must like the sound of that, Mickey, eh?
Oh, occasionally, Ruth. Back on the meat train sporadically, my friend.
Good.
You started eating some meat, Mick?
Yeah, I've incorporated in. Sorry, Matt. I'm sure the boys have filled you in on a few differences here. But yeah, no. I'm consuming red meat now, sort of once every 10 days.
You feeling better for it?
Yeah, I think I am. I mean, I think after being plant-based for so long, it was 6 years. You've got a big shift in the gut microbiome and all sorts of things going on. So, a few tummy upsets and things like that in starting out. Also, being in a regional community, I wasn't prepared to sort of just go and get the stuff off the shelf from Woolies or Coles. So, you're sourcing that quality butcher that could make sure we were getting a good source of meat, and actually in the last couple of weeks we've gone a step further. We've now linked into a like a farming syndicate, which was like a family that have their own cattle, and then they know exactly where their meat's coming from and all that sort of thing. And just through making a connection there through Kimmy and some of the work she's been doing up here in the community, we've managed to sort of be invited into that syndicate. So we're now purchasing sort of a large quantity of meat, and freezing it, but we know where the source is. So yeah, I think I'm getting to the point now where certainly I'm enjoying, my body's getting back to feeling more like what I would imagine my optimal level is, just with a few adjustments still. But I think the next 3 months will be when I'll really get to see the benefits.
You'll be nose to tail in no time, mate. Eat all of that animal.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Matt, if you had a like a 40-year-old guy come to you, bit of a dad bod, said, mate, I need to change something. I'm not happy here. What do I do? You've mentioned a few things: nutrition, exercise, vitamin D. The old dad bod dad comes up. What are the first things? I mean, obviously those first two would probably be advice for him: nutrition and exercise.
They are key, and vitamin D. You've got to ease into it. But you got to cut out the crap first.
Yeah.
I'd start with that.
Yeah.
Cut out the crap. So start with processed foods. I'd go through, if I could, like go through his pantry and like cut all that out. Go to the supermarket with him, like don't pick that up. Educate on ingredients, but definitely processed carbs, sugar, seed oils, cut those out. And I can add alcohol to that as well.
Yep.
It's going to convert into sugar in your body anyway. Cut it out or bring it right down, and start with that.
Yeah.
And then see how you feel.
Yeah.
Cut the crap basically and see how you feel.
Yeah. So keep everything the same. Just cut out those processed foods, those processed carbs.
For some people it's going to be a long journey.
Yeah.
You need to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say cut the crap first and then start to increase the meat, or do it at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to go from standard Australian diet to carnivore or a meat-heavy diet.
Yeah.
It's a big shift.
Well, Mick, you did that, didn't you? You went through your pantry and pretty much you didn't have much left after you'd got rid of all the processed and things with multiple ingredients in there that you couldn't pronounce.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously when Wifey got crook, we did a massive overhaul, and we were already a pretty healthy family. Certainly exercise, high-level exercise and healthy eating was a big part of our life. But I think it's pretty confronting when you look at some of the things you're consuming thinking they're healthy. And I think, as Matt said earlier, when you actually dive into the ingredients list and you're looking at names that you can't even say, let alone understand, it's pretty indicative of, all of the fillers and things that are going in and how detrimental it can be to your health when you start to look into it. I wanted to ask Matt, Ruse asked a really good question there. And I guess just extending on from that, how big of an impact, we've all been through a relatively stressful couple of years. I think men heading into midlife in general can be a relatively stressful time as well, in terms of cognitive shifts, biological shifts, all of those sorts of things. How much of an impact do you think that stress reduction plays on people, I guess, stepping successfully into this healthier way of living that you're promoting?
Stress is huge. And it's very hard for people in full-time jobs to reduce the stress. But there's other things you can do. I mean, it's really good to try to achieve a work-life balance. I've heard a lot of people say that they can't do it, they don't have time to exercise, but I do sometimes do 40, 45 hours a week. Like I can do it. If I can do it, other people can.
You find time.
There's time. You find time. Just get off social media, don't watch so much Netflix. Just get away from the distractions, work out, focus on nutrient-dense food. I think that's a start. And I also said you cut out the crap because they're the main drivers of metabolic disorder. So all these things are going to reduce your stress as well. Stress is on your body. Another one is just getting enough sleep and cutting out the blue light at night. They're going to drive up the stress.
Yeah, sleep's massive, isn't it? Particularly like dudes going into their 40s, interrupted sleep becomes a bit of a pattern. You know, waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning, there's something not right there. I know I had the same problem myself.
Snoring.
Yeah, snoring.
You had that problem.
Yeah. My sleep's a lot better now. I've been practicing a few things that we've talked about, you know, like getting up in the morning, doing the ice therapy, whether it be a real cold shower or jump in my cold pool. Look in the sun's direction for 5 minutes as soon as I've got out of bed. Attempt also to see the setting sun sky at the end of the day. Those things I reckon have helped.
Matt, just going back to vitamin D, you mentioned its importance for general wellness and muscle building, and I 100% agree with that. Do you recommend people get all their vitamin D from the sun, or do you recommend a combination of that and supplementation? Or
I know vitamin D will last in our system for 3 months if we're not getting anything. It's the way our bodies are designed, so that'll get us through the colder period of the year when there's not much sun. But we're in Australia, like, come on, we've got so much sun.
Yeah.
Even in the summer, we've got so many sunny days. Some people, if they're not able to absorb vitamin D very well from the sun, they can take supplements. So at least we've got that option. But I don't need it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of sun at the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm just mindful of I try not to get too much because I can still burn if I'm outside for an hour and a half in the midday sun. So
Yeah.
it's got to cover up, but for me, I don't need it.
Yeah. I guess those Northern Hemisphere countries where they don't see daylight for some few months of the year, and they all start going wacky, losing their shit.
Yeah.
Their vitamin D levels have depleted drastically.
Yeah.
They would probably be beneficial for supplementation.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be quite a big fan of getting as much sun as you can and maybe also some vitamin D supplementation, but there's some research out there that suggests maybe it's not as good as we thought.
Oh, really?
I think nature is probably the best way. I think you're spot on, Matt. I agree with you 100%. Get it from the sun if you can. Maybe if it's like an extreme example, you live in very high latitude places or something like that. Maybe take a bit of supplementation. But yeah, natural's always better, isn't it? Like it's,
there's some evidence to suggest most supplements, because they're chemical in nature. Chemical compounds, it's harder for our body to absorb them.
Yeah.
If you're getting it from vitamin D from the sun or nutrients from food, it's the best source.
Yeah.
Going to absorb that a lot better.
Yeah.
What about barefoot, mate? Are you a barefoot walker? Do you run?
I do some sprints. I do walks, not runs.
Yep.
Down the beach, grassy areas. I love going barefoot everywhere.
Yes.
Except for the local Coles, I don't do it down there. I don't go to the supermarket, but you know.
Yeah. I know what you like. What you mean. You can
wherever
look like
I can.
a hobo if you're walking around the shops with no shoes on. But I don't
You're
mind.
not,
I don't
you're not
care.
really connecting with the earth on a
No,
Coles
that's right.
surface, are you?
No.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, every opportunity.
And you spend a bit of time down the beach.
Yeah, definitely. With the holidays coming up, I'll be down there every day.
Yeah.
Early morning walks, swims,
Yep.
Sunsets. So like being in the sun and watching the sun too. A bit of sun gazing.
Yep.
Sunsets and sunrises are great.
Yeah.
Good for eye health. Doing that sort of thing.
Yep. Any other tips and little quirks that you've got that you can
I
pass
think the older you get, the harder it is to lose it. So make a start now.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of stuff today. There's a lot of suggestions there.
Yeah.
If a lot of those sound a bit difficult, start with walks. Get in the sun and go for walks.
Yeah.
And then look through ingredients and go, which ones have seed oils? Chuck them out. I mean, then there's little things you can do to get started.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on seed oils too much, other than sort of them being processed, but
And getting rid of them.
getting rid of them. Yeah, but
Well, Matt just touched on it there, and one of the things that you've mentioned in a previous podcast, which I love, is even if the only dietary change you're going to make was don't buy food that contains seed oil, you're pretty much going to get rid of all your processed food straight up, because almost all processed food will contain seed oil. So if you just went on a mission to eliminate seed oil out of your diets, you're pretty much just going to be eating fresh, unprocessed food.
Exactly.
I actually think
if you want to distill it down.
I think it was Matt's post about there was some healthy. My daughter he's not happy with you because it was it was a hazelnut spread. It wasn't Nutella. Was it the Panna one?
Panna, it's
And you went in the
it's supposed to be a
supermarket?
healthy
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah. So
It's got seed oils on it too.
yeah, and I saw that video of yours, and I went in. I said, "Isla, I'm sorry, this is out." She got real upset. So it's got oils in it. I didn't know. We didn't know. You know.
Sunflower oils and everything. Look
Yeah.
at it. Look at
They
the
sneak
label
it
on a
in.
muesli
Yeah.
bar, your cereal.
All your
Yeah.
alternative milks.
Everywhere. Yeah, and the so-called healthy foods. How many parents pack muesli bars in a
Yeah.
lunchbox?
Yeah.
That was the post where I went to the supermarket and said,
Yes.
let's
yeah.
find some seed oils
Yeah.
and some everyday stuff. And there was Uncle Toby's muesli bars,
Yeah.
that spread.
Yeah.
Um,
Because that's supposed to be healthy. They play it off as it's not
Great
it's
marketing,
not
isn't it?
Nutella. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Nutella. It's all natural. You know.
Yeah.
It might even be called organic.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's probably why my wife got it. It's not Nutella.
Well, I guess
it's
it puts
organic.
proof to the fact that when you do your shopping, you stick to the periphery of the shopping centre, don't you?
out there.
You know, you stay out of the middle of it because that's full of
Yeah.
shit.
around the outside.
The outside got your fruit, your meats, dairy and veggies, whatever.
Or even better, do what Mickey Mac did and get into a co-op or some sort of
Yeah.
buying group where they're just buying good quality organic stuff and
Yeah.
order as a collective and support the little sort of up-and-coming things rather than the big supermarkets that aren't really doing us any favours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to look at my local butcher a bit more. I often just ignore them. I'll go to the local IGA, get my meat there. But I'm going to definitely start looking at making that change. Yeah, supporting the local butcher and getting maybe some more organ meats into me.
Yeah. You'll find some different stuff in the butchers.
Yeah.
I've got another one. It's a Euro-style butcher. I think that's the name, Cripple Lake. They do bone marrow. They do a lot of pork stuff too. Don't eat much pork, but, sometimes I'll add it. But the bone marrow there is great.
Awesome.
Cook it up in the oven for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like gelatin. It's beautiful. Add a bit of salt to it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Marrow.
it's amazing for getting that gelatin.
So when you buy it, it's like a jelly.
No, it's in the bone. So
Right.
they've cut the bone into pieces. You can see that it's like a jelly inside.
Yeah.
And then you just chuck it in the oven for 20 minutes, and then you scoop it out.
Oh.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, right. Gee, that's something new.
Yeah, that's a good one. Get on that.
So, mate, any downsides you've come across to carnivore? Is there anything that you are aware of or that you sort of don't like about it?
It's hard having a six-pack all the time.
Oh, tough.
No, but I know there's a bit of infighting in the community. There's a whole thing that's happened with Liver King, and then you've got there's Bart K and Saladino at each other, and there's a bit of disagreements in the community. And I think, like for listeners, I think we're all the same. We listen to little bits and pieces from all of them, and we just put it together, and we create our own diet.
Yeah, well, I think
You don't have to follow one person.
and you find what works for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and you find that, okay, this is working for me. I feel good.
Yep.
You know, I'm doing the right things. I've eliminated this. I've taken on this, and I feel great.
Yeah.
Well, Saladino talks about it all the time. You know, if you feel good, keep doing what you're doing. But if you don't, here's an alternative. And everyone's different. Everyone's diet is individualized. Find out what works for you.
Everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
I kind of respect Saladino's journey a bit because he sort of started out and he was sort of more hardcore
Yeah.
carnivore, but then a couple of years down the track that sort of stopped working for him a little bit. So he started integrating a few other things and he's sort of finding his balance. And sometimes it's quite hard to make that change and step back from some almost dogma that you've put down to say, do this. And then you go, well, actually, this works a little bit better. So I kind of respect that.
Yeah, because he's introduced a lot more fruit and honey
He
now.
sort of has
hasn't he?
honey and fruit and he's actually having quite a lot of carbs now if you look at his
Yeah,
A
right.
couple of hundred.
daily. Yeah, which is right up there. I mean,
Yeah.
So you're no carbs at all, Matt? You're
Occasionally,
Yep.
from a little bit of fruit.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like to be more metabolically flexible.
Yeah.
So if I add carbs, I don't want to have a reaction to that. So a lot of people that do eat meat for many, many years, if they do reintroduce carbs, they're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So I want my body to be able to, I'm a fat burner most of the time, but if I introduce carbs and have a bit of glucose, I want to be able to switch it up. So I've got those reserves there. My body can switch if it needs to, and then go back to what it does best, which is fat burning.
Yeah.
yeah. I think there's tons of merit in that. You need to have a good sort of insulin spike every now and then. Like you say, you don't want to be just a fat burner and then have real dramas with any sort of fruit or carbohydrates you have down the track. I reckon that's a really, really sensible way to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
it makes sense, doesn't it? Ancestrally,
It does.
they would have
Exactly
found
right.
this big bush of berries and just inhaled it, or found some honey and just gone nuts.
It's like some of those.
tree roots and tubers,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like some of those tribes they study. They might eat nothing but zebra for a whole week, and then the next week they might find a hive of honey, and
Yeah.
they've measured their blood sugar. It doesn't spike whatsoever because they've just got such good metabolic flexibility, and their microbiome is so strong that they're just adapted to eat all these natural foods.
Mm.
So, yeah, I respect guys like Sean Baker and stuff like that who can
Yeah.
just eat meat, just
he's-
ribeye. It
And
works
he-
for
and he
him,
looks
obviously. Really,
amazing,
I mean, he's
doesn't
a
he, at his
freaking
age?
physical specimen. Like
Yeah.
that guy's an absolute unit, and it's obviously
breaking
working
records
really well
and-
for him. And he's
yeah.
a doctor.
Yeah, that could be a good way to wind it up. I've got a list here of things we didn't ask, Matt, so we might have to get you on the podcast again and come in and ask a few more things. But I think that's really good, especially leading into after Christmas and New Year, how we can sort of make a few changes with our New Year's resolutions and go from there. Yeah, is there anything anyone wanted to finish off with? Last questions?
No, just thanks so much for your time, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Really
coming in.
appreciate
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. We're
So-
all aligned, I think, with the same message.
Yeah.
Always good
Yeah.
to speak to like-minded people.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being our first guest.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's
I'm,
a very
I'm
big
happy to
privilege.
come on again and
Awesome.
Yeah.
tackle a different topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, mate. And if
Beautiful.
you've got some more questions, mate, we'll hit them up next
Yeah,
time.
we'll
Yeah, well,
get
this has
them
been
on
a good
next time.
overview for people, hasn't
Yeah.
it? Sort of the 10,000-foot view of all the things you can do, but there's a lot of nitty-gritty there. So, yeah,
Yeah, cool. Thanks for your time,
good
mate.
stuff. Thanks, Matt.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
Thanks a lot. You too.
Appreciate your time. Good on you.
Get your
See you
guitar ready.
guys. See ya.
Thank you.